Holy crap, the election is just around the corner, but there is still time to get out the vote and encourage all your friends and family to vote. In today's video, North Carolina. I'm going to be focusing on North Carolina's registration dates and information. The date to be registered as a voter in North Carolina is October 11th. You are able to register in two ways. The first is online. If you have a driver's license from North Carolina, you can access the DMV, and I'll share the link. You can register that way to vote. If you are not a driver or with a driver's license in North Carolina, online registering is not an option for you. The second way to register to vote in North Carolina is to register by mail. When registering to vote, you don't actually need a driver's license. All of these forms of identification are acceptable. So go ahead and check out the links that I leave, but you can use any of these other forms of ID to get registered to vote in North Carolina. While North Carolina does offer registration on Election Day, this is only for specific situations such as you become a naturalized citizen or you have completed your sentence as a felon. Then you could potentially register on Election Day, but this is not available to the general public. One more thing on the subject of getting registered to vote in North Carolina. If you do not have a current license from North Carolina and you have an out-of-state license, you are able to use your Social Security number to also register. Now, let's talk about how you vote in North Carolina. North Carolina offers early voting October 17th to November 2nd. October 17th to November 2nd. If you don't want to vote in person, you can, of course, mail in your ballot. I found this interesting and a little surprising. You will have to pay for postage if you mail in your ballot. Once again, California does not charge postage for our ballots, but in North Carolina, you're going to pay $1.77, 3 stamps. 3 stamps to mail that sucker back in, and apparently the state cannot pay for that for you. I feel like this is a Republican thing. $1.77. So if you're going to mail in your ballot, you're going to need the postage. So just vote in person, vote early. Another option is to drop off your ballot at the County Board of Elections. I'll leave a link where you can find the closest one to you. Now let's get into some other information about North Carolina and this year's election and why it's so important. As I'm sure most of the women in North Carolina already know, abortion is illegal in North Carolina after 12 weeks. In cases of incest or rape, abortion is legal until the 20th week, but after that is also illegal in North Carolina. Keep in mind, this is all as of July 1st, 2023. So again, another example of what Donald Trump's term and what the overturning of Roe has done. North Carolina has now made it much harder for women to have bodily autonomy and decide if they want or need an abortion. And as much as I like talking about this freak show, there is some news from North Carolina. His name will remain on the ballots. He had requested to have his name removed because, he just has nothing better to do than help Trump and muck up things. But he lost, and his name will remain on ballots. So you'll see his happy little name in not shocking at all headlines. North Carolina Republicans are trying to purge more voters because when voters vote, they lose. So North Carolina Republicans are seeking to purge 225,000 voters. We'll see how that goes. There are laws, federal laws in place that stop this kind of thing this close to an election. Even more of a reason that the win should be overwhelming in North Carolina and everywhere else. How do we do that? We vote in overwhelming numbers. So let them play their games. We just have to keep voting. And the big thing that's happening in North Carolina that I'm sure most people have heard about by now is the governor race. We have this guy who I really don't want to go into it, but some details, because you're just going to love hearing them. He said that some people need to be slaves. He described his arousal as an adult when recalling peeping at women as a teen at a public gym, and characterized himself as a perv who appreciated transgender pornography. He's into transgender videos, let's say, with maybe clothes removed, but he's not into giving them actual rights. So I'd rather focus on who he's running against. Josh Stein, who would be the first Jewish governor of North Carolina if elected. He is currently the Attorney General. Some other interesting facts about him is he secured more than $50 billion nationally to bring much-needed opioid addiction treatment and recovery services. He tackled the largest backlog of untested rape kits in the country. He held e-cigarette manufacturer Juul accountable for winning $40 million to help kids conquer their addiction. He has a long history of being a liberal, and his parents were both super liberal. I'm going to finish this video with a headline about his opponent. Make sure you vote.